Thanks for joining us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And we catch up with tight end, Irv Smith Jr. I'll tell you, I really think the tight end position is one of the most difficult positions to play in all of sports, because you have to be big enough and strong enough to block big defensive linemen, 280, 300-pound defensive linemen. Then you have to be athletic enough and agile enough to run routes against linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks. Not many guys walking planet Earth that can do both of those things. Irv Smith can do that. Very, very excited about what he's going to bring to the table. Joe Burrow and this offensive football team worked with the core wide receivers they have here in Cincinnati. Irv Smith talks about that and so much more. You're going to enjoy it. Irv Smith Jr. joins us in the trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics, coming to you from our outstanding studios, as always. And we have an outstanding guest, young tight end with the Cincinnati Bengals. It's all in the family. Dad, Irv Smith Sr., great player himself. How about it? Is there any pressure, or are there more pros than cons to being the son of a great tight end, being in the NFL yourself as a tight end?
It's definitely more pros than cons, I'd say.
Yeah.
Appreciate you having me on the show, Dave. And yeah, just
Absolutely.
Obviously growing up, I was young when my dad played in the NFL. I was about two to 3 years old when he was finished playing. But growing up, just seeing his footballs and his helmets around the house, and for a kid, you have big dreams, and when your dad he fulfills his dreams of making it to the NFL and going first round and playing at a high level. It makes it more achievable for a young kid. Those dreams, they're not, it's not impossible. You have hope, and especially, with the genetic of my father, and then the work ethic that he instilled in me and my family's instilled on me. It definitely helped pay off. But yeah, it's definitely more pros for sure of having a father in the NFL, especially playing the same position as well. So it's awesome.
So how did it work between you guys? Did your dad say, look, this is what I did, this is what worked for me? Or did he wait for you to ask him questions? How did that exchange of information take place over the years as you were showing more and more interest in obviously doing what your dad did?
Yeah, it's actually funny you said that, because me and Orlando, we were talking today about, because our dads play together and stuff like that, and just kind of getting to know each other better. And Orlando, I was talking to him. I'm like, yeah, I didn't start playing football until 8th grade. My dad, he didn't want to let me play. He didn't want me to get burnt out from the sport, and with injuries and things like that. In Orlando, he said the same thing. He didn't start playing until 8th grade. So, and we asked each other, like, was that something that they did as well? And my dad, he didn't start playing until about high school football as well. So he kind of took the program that he was on and put me in it. He played baseball. I played basketball. So that was kind of our switch around. But yeah, it was a blessing. As a kid, I was I was mad. Every Christmas I'm asking them to let me play football. All my friends are playing football. Let me play football. Wouldn't let me play. He was always telling me in high school you could play. And then finally in 8th grade, he budged and let me go out there.
All right. So your dad goes to Notre Dame. You go to Alabama. How much pressure was there to go to Alabama, or to go to Notre Dame instead of Alabama?
Notre Dame, actually, they didn't really recruit me coming out of high school. I had they had came to one of my workouts or something, like a lift that we had, and came to the school. They didn't. In Louisiana, we had spring football, so we'd have 9 spring practices, full padded practices, and then the 10th practice, it would be a scrimmage against another team. And so that was kind of the time when I started getting a lot of my offers, and that's when Alabama came, and Notre Dame, they just never came to one of the practices. So, I guess it was meant to be. But going to Alabama, I mean, it was amazing. When my dad went to Notre Dame, they won the national championship the year before he got there. And when I was going to Alabama, they won a national championship the year before I got there. So, the standard was set in terms of the expectations, and going to a winning program. So
that's amazing. It really is. You come out of Alabama as a second round pick to the Minnesota Vikings, and your quarterback is Kirk Cousins. That's pretty good quarterback to work with. And then you come to the Cincinnati Bengals, and you're working now with Joe Burrow. Are there more similarities than differences between Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow at the quarterback position?
The similarities, I would say they're both very, very smart guys. Definitely wired, wired to play this position. It takes a lot. And what they bring to the table is, you see it every Sunday. But what the difference between, I would say, Joe and Kirk is, Joe's obviously younger, um, and he's played had a lot of success at an early age, and playing
Right.
football, and playing in national championships in college, and playing in the Super Bowls so far in the NFL, and now it's that next step to get over that hump. So I would say those are some of the differences between the two. But with Joe, he's the man in the huddle. He's coming in and can make an impact in the run game, with RPOs and moving his feet, and getting his playmakers the ball. But he's strong leader, and he's setting the tone every day when he walks in the building, when he commands the huddle. And having a guy like that in your huddle, it's a boost of confidence and a boost of adrenaline that you can get the ball at any time.
I know Kirk Cousins throws a very catchable football, but nobody throws a ball that's more catchable than Joe Burrow. To my eye anyway. You're on the receiving end of those throws. Does he throw a football that is, like feathery touch, easy to catch kind of thing?
Yes, very, very much so. He knows when to put some mustard on it, and he knows also when to just drop a little ball in there. We was talking about basketball, and he said that, well, he said he played every position. He said he's positionless, but his true position probably a point guard, he said. And
Right.
that's kind of what he's out there doing is facilitating and getting guys the ball, and letting us make plays.
What you were asked to do in Minnesota, that's an offense that obviously is throwing the football quite a bit. Coming down here to Cincinnati, another offense throws the ball quite a bit. How similar are the offenses? Is there? I know terminology is different. It's almost like you're in Germany and speaking French. The language. You're gonna have to unlearn and relearn the language and terminology and everything. But conceptually, are there some similarities for you there?
Yes, there's some similarities with Coach Taylor, with his background coming from LA, and O'Connell and those guys, they were together, and so just having that, definitely being in that offense last year with the Vikings, and hearing the plays and different things like that, to be able to come over here with the Bengals and not miss a beat, in terms of a lot of the formations are similar. All the names and terminology is different, but the concepts and things like that are pretty similar in some instances. So I feel like going on a year 5 in the NFL now, just playing a lot of football, and having some experience and playing in big games and things like that, to where I can go out there and play fast. And Coach Casey, he's done an amazing job just teaching me this offense, and how he's been teaching me. We're not just sitting down, reading, flipping the pages and looking at the the concepts on paper. It's more watching film, watching guys make plays, and being able to create mismatches and being able to get open, and not waste time at the line, not waste time at the top of your routes, being efficient, and also being a willing blocker, because at the end of the day, as tight end, we have to block, duo, we have to block outside zone, we have to block inside zone, and be in communication with the tackles, and things like that. So it's awesome having that expertise and already playing in an offense like this, to where I can come over and not miss a beat and be able to play fast.
I've always admired the tight end position for like you just described, the versatility of skill set that you have to have. You have to be a third offensive tackle, basically in the running game, and then you have to be a wide receiver at the end of the line of scrimmage or detached or whatever. I mean, that's a very, very diverse skill set. I think it's probably the most unique position that there is in football. And it's interesting you bring up Coach Casey, James Casey. He played the position himself in the league, so and he's very hands on, obviously, as a result of that. And C.J. Uzama, Hayden Hurst, these guys had great success and moved on and furthered their careers better economically. You're coming to Cincinnati to try to do the same thing. James Casey's the real deal, isn't he?
Yes, sir. He really is. It's amazing that he actually played for Coach Kubiak, and his tight end coach, Coach Periani, that's who drafted me in Minnesota.
Wow.
So having that similarity, and he kind of nuances. He knew what I went through my first 3 years with that staff, and what I've learned from them, and how I can elevate my game even more. Because he's been in my chair, he's been in my seat before in those positions. Like having my dad as a mentor and someone I can lean on that's played the game and has had high success. Coach Casey, I see the same with him, and it's just a blessing that coming to work every day, that I know I'm gonna be getting better as a player, better as a man, and he's definitely got me better so far. And like you said, with Hayden Hurst and CJ Uzama, those guys, they came and made a big impact right away. And, that's something that I pride myself on, and it's high expectations in this tight end room, and Coach Taylor has high expectations. Joe, the whole staff and my teammates, they all believe in me. So it's just coming to work every day and putting the work in. And like you said, being versatile, it's not just about being able to go run routes and get open and make plays. In that sense, I got to be able to, block a 6 technique and a 9 technique, and, get those guys moving down the field so we can create big running lanes. So the position it's amazing that I mean, besides the quarterback, I feel like the tight end position is one of the toughest, because you have to do everything.
Yeah, and it's a huge challenge. There's no question about it. You mentioned your dad. What would you think the biggest lesson learned or the best piece of advice, however you want to term it, that you received from your dad?
The best piece of advice, I mean, my dad, he was a great father in a sense. He let me be a kid. He let me play sports and have fun and compete, and learn about myself, and grow as a man and things like that. Because football, it doesn't last forever. When my dad was done playing football, he was, I think, about 30 years old, and uh, 32 years old, and I was young. I see my dad play after football, so
Right.
really the lessons that he taught me as a man, and obviously his genetics helped a lot, but just having him as a mentor, and just letting kids be kids, and going out there and playing all sports, not just football, going out there playing basketball, playing soccer, at recess, playing kickball, playing baseball, whatever you can do to be a kid, because all of those movements, and all of those reps and competitive, just competing against kids your age, kids older, all of that adds up. So when you get in these moments, at practice and the games, to where you're confident in your abilities and you can go out there and play.
So, with respect to the tight end position and all that it requires physically, like we talked about, the football gods haven't been totally kind to you in terms of injury. I mean, you've had your share of injuries that you've had to deal with, and you've dealt with them,
Hmm.
sustained your excellence through them. The football gods owe you 2 or 3 seasons of no injury, man. Are you hopeful that that's the case? I mean, you certainly have earned it and deserved it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I spent a lot of time taking care of my body. I built a team around me that I've been working with now for a few years, and built relationships with. And the trainer that I train with, I've been training with him since high school. So he knows my body more than anybody. The people, the staff with the Bengals, and just everything that they've done to help me stay healthy, and just come in every day to be able to give 100% and play fast. I mean, football is a physical game. Things are gonna happen, but being able to be as preventable as possible, having everything strong, being able to, because as a tight end, we got to be able to block big guys, and we also got to be able to get out of our routes and be fast. So it's finding that balance between yourself and just being able to be confident. I played a lot of football, and being able to come back last year at the end of the season was big for me to build that confidence to lead into this season. So
Right.
the football guys, they definitely on my side, and I'm just ready to get to work.
So I know you're a humble guy. You're a very intelligent, well-spoken guy. If
Thank
you
you.
had to pick uh, a characteristic, a trait or two that you feel are the strength of your game, what might those be?
um, I would say I definitely say speed.
Yep.
Speed is something that is God given. Obviously, you have to work on your speed and things like that. But I feel like that's something that in this sense of the game, especially at the tight end position and in all positions, but at the tight end position, you want to be as fast as faster than the safeties, faster than the linebackers, but also use your strength and size. So I say like I would say speed and strength, speed, strength, and toughness. Those are the three that I would emphasize and tell any young players or any young tight ends that those are the three keys to be successful. Is you got to be fast, you got to be strong, you got to be tough. Because like in these senses, I'm not the biggest guy out there. I'm having to block 300-pound guys sometimes, and I'm 240, 245 in that range. So yeah, just being able to be as fast as possible, getting in and out of your routes, getting on top of the safeties, and being able to make plays.
There's no doubt that the Bengals, in a lot of people's estimation, mine included, have as good a trio of wide receivers as there is in the National Football League. So those three guys spreading and there's more. I mean, a couple more drafted in training
Mhm.
camp or in
Mhm.
competing. When you have a core of receivers like that can spread the field out, how beneficial does it make it playing the tight end position, working with the core receivers like that?
It makes it easier for everybody. I mean, from the center to the guard to the tackle to the tight end. I mean, from the X to the Z to the Y. Every player. If you have more weapons, it puts more pressure on the defense. And on offense, we have the advantage because we know where we're going. They don't. And so when you have guys that know how to get open and have made plays at a high level with Jamar T, Tyler Boyd, Trent Irwin, Trent Taylor, Stanley, with Charlie we drafted. It's a lot of guys and a lot of weapons, and with guys that have had a lot of success and at the highest level, obviously, and can get open, create mismatches, and with Joe back there getting everybody the ball for a tight end, I'm gonna be able to make impacts and get open, and it's all trickles down on to each other. So it's a blessing having those three guys with more weapons that nobody should be able to stop us but ourselves. So that's our expectations, and we just build. And every day we come into practice, everybody has the right mindset to just be out there, be themselves. Don't try to be somebody you're not, and just make the plays and be confident in yourself. Making it to the NFL, that's only the start of the journey. Now it's being able to compete and to make plays at the highest level on a consistent basis.
So the culture that you had in Minnesota is very good, obviously. What do you think about the culture that you've got here in Cincinnati as an organization, and what drew you to the Cincinnati Bengals as a destination? Was it Joe Burrow? Were there other factors?
I think that the culture that's been built here is, it's top of the line with how Coach Taylor, how he came in and made an immediate impact, um, and especially after Joe joined the team. Went from not a team that wasn't too doing too well to making it to the Super Bowl within a few years. And that just shows that in this league it's tough to win football games. You have to have not only great players but a great staff and guys that believe in the coachings what what the program's been built on. And having a winning mentality, it makes everything better. Winning makes everything better in terms of you coming to work, and you have an opportunity to win. A lot of teams, they think they might win, or they think that they have what it takes. But when and it's proven, and you have that feeling every day when you come into work that you're getting better, and your team is you're right there. It's just now it's focusing on the minute details, the little things, because it's a game of inches, and when you have great players, those are the things that's really gonna matter at the end, especially December, January, and February.
So the AFC North, I don't know how much you knew about the division before coming here, but Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati, very physical. Came from a division, the black and blue
hmm
division, very, very physical as well.
hmm
Was that an intrigue to you?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, growing up, I feel like I watched this division so much, and the physicality that with Baltimore, with Ray Lewis and those guys, and with the Steelers with Troy Polamalu and James Harrison, and obviously the Bengals with Ochocinco and T.O. and Hushmanzada and those guys, and with Cleveland, my dad playing for Cleveland, so
Right.
watching this division growing up, you seeing a lot of success and a lot of physical football, and that's what football is about. It's about physicality and dominating the man across from me. So that's an emphasis, especially in our tight end room, that we got to play as physical and as nasty as possible. We're not looking to make friends out there. We come in we coming for it all.
So let's get you out of here on this and appreciate the time that you carved with us here today. There's no question about that, Irv. Now that you're in OTAs, it's voluntary, but I mean a high percentage of the guys come to participate and they come to work. And this is where, the team starts to be formulated. This is where bonds are formed and they become significant, and guys are
Yes, sir.
lifelong friends playing with each
Yes,
other
sir.
in the National Football League. How's that process gone? I mean, the OTAs, the voluntary workouts out there, from your first to where you are now, you feel like you've come along pretty well?
Yes, sir. Yes, it's been really well. Just being able to come in every day and have a plan and going out and executing. We're not wasting any motion out here. We learning the offense. We're getting better, and also creating those bonds like you talked about. That's very important. It's a team sport. It takes all 11 guys on each side at all times, um, in sync to be able to score points and to for the defense to stop the offense. And that takes a lot of teamwork, a lot of camaraderie, and me and the guys, we've been getting together, playing a little golf. I haven't This is kind of my first time getting into golf, but it's fun just being able to get outside and be with nature and just be with your teammates and learn more about each other, because obviously we love playing the game of football. That's our job. That's what we love to do. But there's more. There's more to everybody. So just finding little things about guys. Learning how many siblings they have, and about their kids and wives and stuff like that. Because it's more than just a game. It's a brotherhood. So like you talked about, these are lifelong relationships, and seeing, like I talked about with my dad, just seeing the relationships that he's built, playing this game. It's lifelong things, and it's something that you can't ever take for granted.
No question about it. Irv, was great catching up. The Bengals have had some great tight ends in franchise history. It's been a very, very productive position for
Yes,
the
sir.
Cincinnati Bengals over the years, and you're the next one in line.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I'm excited.
We're excited to see what you can do, and I know you're going to do it well. Appreciate you. Think the organization is extremely excited to work with you. They know they got a young man that's got football IQ as well as physical abilities, and sky's the limit for Irv
Yes,
Smith
sir.
Jr.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna give it all I got every day.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Thank you for having me.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realized self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
Opportunity knocking.